Welcome back to the Hostel Pandemic mini-series. Jimmy Black with the Hostel Road Trip Podcast, back with Bobby Dyer from ITH Hostels.
Hey guys, good to be here.
And there we go. And David Cook from the Barn Door Hostel, newly opened in Rumney, New Hampshire.
Yeah, yep. Climbing epicenter of the Northeast.
Yeah, someone that can represent that area here and tell us about what's going on up there. But we're going to have a great episode because we're going to hear from David about what it's like to be in your first year of operation and a pandemic hits. He just opened. He's not yet at the 1 year mark. He had a strong opening, but now where do you go from there? As we've talked to people that were in the process of opening up, we've talked to people that have been open, but let's talk a little bit more about the person who had just opened. And then a little treat on top of that, David's also going to tell us about some of the structural challenges and facility-based issues that one can have when converting a barn that was once a chicken coop and a mechanic shop into a hostel. And that could be some good feedback for you listeners out there. But to dive in, Dave Cook, who was at one time one of our original managers at ITH and is now spread things like a raising phoenix and has now opened his own operation in New Hampshire. We're so very proud of him. But David, first tell us a bit about your hostel. What's the Barn Door Hostel about?
Sure. Barn Door Hostel, we're in Rumney, New Hampshire. It is the climbing mecca of the Northeast. Anybody that rock climbs, literally from around the world, they have heard of Rumney. There are the easiest climbs, so easy that you could do it barefoot with your dog, all the way up to world-class, now Olympic climbers have done them once, and everything in between, all difficulties. There's over 1,300 routes here, established climbing routes, which is equal to the amount of residents in the town. So it's pretty funny to see. Yeah, we're a really small town, and the climbers flock from all over. Our main demographic is Boston, New York, Montreal, that whole 5-hour radius from us. So Rumney needed something, and we built it. Here we are. If you build it, they will come.
Nice. I fucking love it. Now, in the facility, that's the location geographically, which is cool. But give us a little bit of taste and insight into the really cool facility we're seeing behind you.
Sure, yeah. So this was, as you mentioned, a super old chicken coop. Yeah, so the building is like 3,500 square feet. It's pretty big. Yep. And so we moved in here. My business partners, my parents came up here too. We're all doing it together. And we had a hell of a time renovating this massive, dilapidated building from a chicken coop and mechanics shop into a hostel, and we had to make it all up to code. We sleep 30 people indoors, and we are located on 9 acres, so we also have a campground, and people can pay a little bit extra and come in and use the bathroom and stuff like that if they want. If they don't want to do that, then there are composting toilets and an outdoor shower for the campers.
Kitchen. All right.
Yeah.
Now, would you say that it's a year-round operation, or are you one of the seasonal style Northeast hostels?
So we were, originally I was planning on being seasonal because climbing is such a seasonal sport. But I have actually seen a lot of people come up during the winter. We stayed open just to test it out throughout this past winter. And we saw actually a lot of people coming. It was a mild winter, so people were coming to climb. They were also coming to ice climb, to ski and snowboard, to, bag some of the 4,000 footers that you can find in the White Mountains. We're super close to Mount Mooselock. It's like 30 minutes away. And also some snowmobilers.
Oh, wow. And we've
got a snowmobile trail like a 1/10 of a mile from our property.
You said ice rock climbing?
Ice climbing, yeah.
That
so with
horrible.
With the pickaxes and the crampons.
Oh my God. Okay.
It's legit up here. So yes, we are year-round now. Yep.
So now, okay, so the year-round, that's exciting to hear. And now I'm hoping that next time I'm up there in the wintertime, I'll escape my parents' house and come join you for a little while. But
yeah, come check it out.
Yeah, now that you've got this winter season behind you and you're coming out and you're just about to celebrate your 1-year anniversary, give us some insight into how is this experience for you? Because I know what it's like for us, as an established place that's been open almost 10 years. That's a wildly different experience than a person like you who's just coming up on their first year. What's this like?
Yeah, so in terms of COVID-19, it is a financial nightmare. It is everywhere across the world, but without the customer base and the financial stability of a longer operating business, it's very difficult. So we've actually been reaching out to a bunch of our old guests and have been asking for donations. We've reached out with the Small Business Association programs that are available.
How'd that work for you?
I actually haven't heard anything back yet, but
that's
I just
tough because you just started though. Yeah, that's just because and as a former accountant, you wouldn't be able to tell by looking at me, but as a guy who used to work in CPA firms, I know that the application process for those types of SBA loans, usually one of the first questions is, have you been in business for at least 5 years or 2 years? Do you have 2 years of tax returns, which means you would have been in business for 3 or 4? That's a tough cookie for you that as you're in it, but you may have just filed literally your first tax return.
I did, yes, I did, which is insane.
That's such a tough scenario to be getting judged off of that very minute, very difficult year. It's not like those are customarily not your best years, those first ones. So even if you are operating for a few years and have a few tax returns, those aren't your best tax returns. That's a very challenge. So you're going through all these motions. Tell me about a little bit more of this reaching out to past guests. Is this like a GoFundMe sponsored thing or more internal?
It's more grassroots. It's not really as organized as a GoFundMe. The majority of our clientele is return customers. The folks that are climbers that live in Albany or Providence or those areas, they're frequenting this area, Rumney specifically, to climb, to work on a project that they're doing, trying to figure out the moves on a climb or something like this. So they're here every week or, every other week. So we have a really loyal customer base, and we've been reaching out to them and said, hey, we know that you like us, not to sound arrogant. We know that you like staying here and we like having you. Please help us stay here. Yeah. So, and that's actually been a super helpful thing so far. We've just been posting on our social media, you can donate to our Venmo, which is Barn Door, like at Barn Door Hostel. You can buy gift cards via Square. That link is on our website. And you can also just purchase like a gear. We have branded t-shirts, we have pint glasses.
That's a nice touch.
All of that, that inventory is just sitting here right now. So it's very helpful for people to buy it, and we can ship it and turn over some of that cash.
Yeah, that's great.
That's a great.
It looks, you guys really got it all covered as far as that goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think GoFundMe is kind of a little bit washed out sometimes. So I think the more honest is sometimes a bit more helpful.
Sure.
I like this, David. I think you're really onto something for the listeners. You saw everyone jump on the GoFundMe wagon. Everyone was on it, and I was just, and we talked about it. We were like, it just didn't feel exactly right for us. And I'm not saying anything against the people that did it and are doing it and are surviving. I think it's beautiful stories. I love what you just brought up so much more. You got all this merchandise, these sweatshirts, these cups, these whatever. That gives the person the opportunity to help you out, but at the same time, not by just giving you money blindly, by buying something. Right. Or as Bobby was kicking off for us, a virtual punch card, like, hey, buy 10 nights that you can use for the next year at a discounted rate, but pay us now so that we can stay afloat and be there in a year. So these are fun ways and cool ways where I think you can encourage and inspire your base to help you out, but in a more genuine way. I think that's a really cool idea.
One last thing. Sorry, go ahead, James. One last thing that we are implementing. It is an old barn, and it's a pain in the ass to clean. So a lot of, all of the time, we ask our guests to take their shoes off, and we have loaner slippers to go around.
Look at you!
Kind of like Japanese style.
Yes, I like that.
So this is launching tomorrow. The Barn Door Hostel Slipper Club. So it's exactly what you described with the punch card. But for Barn Door Hostel, you get your own slippers, and we'll store them here for you. And you're locked into a price point for life.
Lifetime Slipper Club.
So, yep, for life.
That's brilliant. This kid worked at an IGH. I'll tell you that.
I have to say, I learned everything from you and Bobby. Honestly, literally everything. From interacting with guests to how to unclog a toilet. I was a sheltered Connecticut boy, and you two really opened my eyes. So.
It was our pleasure, David. You were a gem to have on board. But it's been great that we've stayed in contact over these years because, and we were joking about it, when this first broke out, what did Uncle Jimmy text you? A good warning, right?
Yes. Yep. You said something like, make sure you have bleach, weed, and toilet paper. And it was actually pre-COVID-19.
Yes!
So it was 3 or 4 days before this whole thing really hit off. And I texted you back a week after, and I said, did you know something? How did you know this? You're get bleach, get toilet paper. You knew it.
You got to move your supplies around in this game. And as I was joking around, if you've got the pancake mix, the bleach, the weed, you can run the shop.
Yep. Pair of slippers on.
Yeah, put your slippers on and go.
Yeah, the Slipper Club's beautiful because it's just like having your own mug at a bar, right?
Exactly. Yeah, that's what it's inspired off of. Exactly.
Oh, I love it.
We went to a hostel in Burlington, and that was unique how everybody took their shoes off and walked around the hostel with no shoes on. It's amazing what it did for the noise also.
It's like I said, it's an old barn. It's massive. So these are 14-foot ceilings, and it's 50 feet long. It's pretty echoey in here. So if people are trudging around with their hiking boots or something it's a pain in the ass. So there's mud, there's noise. So slippers all the way.
Nice.
That is awesome. We were scheduled to do the podcast with you, which we had to delay a couple of seasons of recording here, but we can't wait to get up there personally. What Bobby and I have said, and I think this would be, we want to come in the summertime so we could ride motorcycles up there from Rhode Island because that's one of the best rides on a motorcycle. Rhode Island should be. And then we can stay outside and attend. We want the summertime experience.
Yep.
Dave's 9 acres of just La La Land. I love it. But now, in closing, we were going to give our guests a little bit of insight and listeners to one of your struggles that was unique that a lot of people don't think about, but shit's in the details. Details in the shit. So you put up this barn, and now you've got up to 100 people that can come stay at it. Tell us about some of your septic issues.
The infrastructure when we moved in was non-existent. We're in such a rural area that there's no city water or no city sewer. We can't just, dig 20 feet and hook up to some pipe. That's not a thing up here. Yeah. So you have to make sure that you have enough water, a big enough well that's going to supply showers and cooking and blah, blah, blah for, like you said, 100 people. But the main thing, the main issue for us was our septic system. We actually had to get a commercial dual tank system, and there are a lot of legalities and proper paperwork and all of this stuff that I had no idea about until it wasn't too late, but it was like right on the brink of like, oh fuck, we're messed up. Can I say fuck?
Yeah, we are at NC-17.
Perfect.
But these are great points for the listeners of, that is a classic example of something that would not be on your radar. It would even be off the radar of your CPA or accountant that's putting together your projections. He's not going to see that or know that unless he's
right.
himself in town hall looking at zoning records.
Sure.
So that is such a key element. And then you talk about also the thing of, sometimes you're too far into it already. So you've already got your life savings invested. You've already signed these leases. You've bought a place and you've got a mortgage. Then you find out, oh my God, I need a $40,000 sprinkler system or a $100,000 septic.
We got one of those too.
Yes, So all these things that can really be deal breakers, and it's sad because it happens. And you're a great story and an inspiring story, but for every one of your stories, there's probably 5 that are the horrible other side of the person had the belief, they had the skill, the talent, the location needed it, the business model would work, and they didn't find out about this septic system, and it killed their project in motion. So,
we were very lucky because our property is bordered, it's kind of a triangle-shaped property, and 2 of those sides are brooks, like environmentally protected brooks.
Oh.
So we're very lucky we have enough space to create a septic system. But if you're in a state or a town or whatever that has environmental protection policies or even just state mandates or whatever.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yep. So that all needs to be on your radar ASAP. People are paying for beds and toilets. At the end of the day, beds and toilets.
There you go. That's a good one. Keep a comfy bed and a clean shitter, and you are on your way to a Oscar, young man.
Precisely.
So, no, that's beautiful stuff there. Now, Bob Dyer, do you have anything in closing you want to tell this handsome gentleman over in Rumney, New Hampshire?
You were talking about septic. I mean, we had an issue here in San Diego with a place, and I learned that the plumber recommended using a certain kind of toilet paper that'll break down easier. And it's something you don't think about when you buy toilet paper. A lot of times you want to buy, whether you're buying the expensive stuff, the quality stuff, sometimes that stuff doesn't break down when it goes through your pipes, and that can be causing you more trouble. So that was a tip we learned of researching a toilet paper that breaks down can help you out a lot as a hostel.
Yeah. Yep. There are a very lot of nuances that go into that. Septic safe toilet paper is definitely one of them. Signs reminding people to not flush sanitary products or whatever. Providing available options for them to some people don't like toilet paper. They want to do the fancy wet wipe thing. What do you do with that? Can you flush it in? Those are things that you have to think about.
Shit talk. It's a whole other series we're talking about here.
Yep.
We talk 2-ply for 30 minutes. But hey, until next time on the Pandemic miniseries, we have another great recording with Joe Gill out of Asheville, North Carolina. But Dave Cook in Rumney, New Hampshire at the Barn Door. We are so excited to come out with the hostel road trip, hopefully maybe sometime this summer. And
hope so.
Fire, thank you so much for joining us again from IHH House San Diego.
Yeah, great to be here with you guys.
Stay beautiful and handsome, and we'll be okay.
Thank you both.
All right. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Day.